live stream the meeting. Says it's doing it. Redirecting. Oh, that's hello. Okay. Sorry about that. It popped up on my window, so like I was hearing myself. So
Oh,
I've muted that tab. Give me a second to see if we're live on LinkedIn. Hi, folks. And if you're out there, sorry, we're still trying to figure out if this thing's working. So for our folks watching, we're newbies to this. So let me, Jamie, are you able to see a chat?
I have the Restream chat up. It says it's ready to display messages.
Okay, I see that we're online on LinkedIn. Jamie, since we're waiting a minute for 10 o'clock, I'm kind of excited and really scared about this. I don't know about you
It's
going
gonna be
live.
fun. I'm
Yeah.
just so excited, to be honest. This is
Okay.
gonna be so much fun. We'll see who can join us. And this is gonna be a fun topic, I think, because
I
I don't think
agree.
you and I agree on this topic.
We don't. And I love that. I absolutely love it when we don't agree on something. So I think, I'm just trying to make sure everything's up and running. And I think it is. So just anybody who's watching, if we don't see your chats, it's just because we're new and we don't know what we're doing. Or I don't. Jamie knows clearly what she's doing. I don't. So we're, but with that, okay, we're both dark and clueless.
Anybody who knows me knows technology is not my friend. It is
Which,
just
okay.
something other people do that I can use.
I got it. Very good. Okay. So I think we're going to get started. And today we're starting with the topic of Roblox. And I saw this online. I saw Roblox mentioned in several forums, and this just fascinates me. And I instantly wanted to talk with you about it, Jamie. So for our viewers out there, imagine you've got this massive playground with 100 million kids just running wild, except it's online, it's global, and the adults in charge, well, they're kind of struggling to keep up. And that is essentially Roblox. And most of us have kids who are on Roblox and playing the game. So, or the multiple games that are on it. It is over a $40 billion company. And now it's also a case study with what happens when growth of a company collides with safety and accountability, especially when you've got a user base that's almost entirely kids or teens. So, Jamie, I'm excited to chat with you about this.
This is gonna be fun. I think it's my kids use Roblox. I have never been on the platform. I've had to play a couple of different times with my kids, but I always look like the just pathetic person who dies in the very first minute.
I like
Um,
I like how you said
so
you had have to play with your kids. Sometimes you've had to play with your kids. I've never played with my kids on Roblox. I have watched them many times though. So just a quick background for everybody. Roblox was founded in 2004 by David Baszucki, and I think he's also known as Builderman, and Eric Castle. So Eric passed away, I believe, in 2013, and David Baszucki is still running Roblox as the CEO, a founder CEO, which I know we're living in the time of Meta, but Jamie, founder CEOs of a high growth company, those are pretty rare, aren't they?
um, for new IPOs, not necessarily rare, but not always common. So
Okay,
a lot of founder CEOs still do exist out there for rapidly growing companies.
got it. Yeah. Well, apparently, so somewhere in the mid-teens, so 2010 to 2020, they pivoted and from basically an education online platform, so educational games, to just encouraging the kids themselves, the young people online, to be their own creators and to monetize their games. And so they adopted this slogan that was make anything, reach millions, earn serious cash. And then they had this massive collision with COVID-19 where kids were at home. And as a parent, I was just like, I cannot manage the studies and the constant. So a lot of kids went to Roblox, and in a year later, Roblox went public. And so in 2021, they had 50 million users. Over half of the kids in the US had an account. I think you've got way more data on the, what, 111 million daily users that they have this year.
Yep, as of the second quarter. So as of the end of July, they're saying 111 million daily average users.
And how do those break out? So yeah, I thought they were almost entirely in the US, but it sounds like they may not be.
They are not actually. About 20 million of them are here in the United States and Canada.
Okay.
The Asia is actually their largest as far as the number of individuals. There's about 30 million daily average users out of Asia Pacific, or sorry, 35 million
Mhm.
out of Asia Pacific, 25 million out of Europe, and then the rest of the world accounts for the other 30. So the United States is actually their smallest as far as average users. However, we do use it a lot more, and more importantly, we are much, much more profitable per
Interesting.
user. So
It,
we'll get into that a little bit later.
so how do the finances break down? What do they look like as a company financially?
So you gotta go back to what's happening, right? So private company, small user base, educational items that they grew. Venture capital got
Hmm.
involved right when COVID hit, and we started monetizing it, and we created this thing called Robux, right?
Hmm.
Robux is the currency within Roblox, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. New skins, put your hat on your avatar, different things like that. But you can also do things like get a private server so that it can just be you and your friends only using that particular game at that time. So you can block in people in and out. There's
Hmm.
lots of ways to use your Robux inside of it. And it is that is the real profitability associated with this business.
Interesting. Well, so it's I always whenever I hear of a company, I want to know how they make money. So, they make money by kids or other individuals buying Robux, and I keep wanting to call it Roblox,
Yeah.
like I can mush the two together. So kids buying Robux, and then spending those Robux probably to get fancy items. I think I read somewhere where somebody bought it like a $20,000 necklace. It's all digital.
There you
Um,
go.
yeah, which I don't know, 20,000 Robux, $20,000, I don't know. But how is there a one-to-one in?
No, not at all. There's
Okay.
not a one-to-one ratio. And not to be confusing, but a lot of the games also have money involved in them. So
Oh,
my kid actually told me he had something like $800 billion in one of his games. So
oof.
obviously not a one-to-one ratio. I have not bought him 800 billion Robux. They would have had a much better quarter than if that had happened. But so it does get pretty confusing. However, what is really happening is we spend real money
Mhm.
on Robux, which is a digital currency that they then turn around and use in the game. It's not unlike you buying cheats in your Candy Crush game or something like that, right? It's a way to
Yeah.
monetize and deal with it. Where we get to the stickiness is, of course, that these are kids.
Hmm.
These
Yes.
are kids. And so that becomes a little bit more of a shaky issue. And to be honest, one of the things that's been going on is that Robux has been moving more and more kids to subscriptions in Robux as well. So no
Interesting.
longer are you just buying them one off. You can go out to Walmart and buy a gift card for Robux. And actually, if you look at their numbers of where they make their money, there's a big surge in the fourth quarter for Christmas because people get Robux for Christmas. My kids have
Fascinating.
gotten Robux for Christmas with what's going on. But and I just lost my train of thought for a quick second. But what's going to happen is you use that money, you use it up, they
Mhm.
book money that's there. But it gets split, sort of, between the developer of the original game and the platform.
Right.
Because like Apple, who has a platform that you put apps on, that is what Robux or Roblox actually is, right? It is a platform for people to build their own games.
So when one of our kids buys Robux online, that is not yet recognized in at Roblox. It's sort of it's on the books as a potential revenue, right, or future
It's
revenue.
called
But
a
as soon
bookings, not a
Thank
revenue.
you. Bookings, not revenue. So then, as soon as one of our kids goes and buys something in a game, that gets converted. But in Roblox, that whole Roblox Robux thing is just going to kill me. They take 30% off the top, so a very common fee. And that's the first way they make money. The second way they make money is those developers, when they take those Robux, they want to have real money, so they can pay for food and things like that. So well, maybe if you're a kid, hopefully the food is provided for you. But some of these folks are serious developers, and they want to, buy things with with real money. So you have to convert the Robux back into currency, real currency
Correct.
that can be exchanged. And so that's where they take another bit of the pie, right?
They do. They cut it both in and out. So if you add it all up, if you buy $1 worth of Robux,
Hmm.
and you split out who actually ends up getting the money, turns out about 70% end up in the end going to Roblox, and 30%-ish, a little bit less than that, is going to go to the developer,
I think
of
that's
the actual
fascinating.
game where you spent your Robux.
I
Um,
find that just so fascinating. I think of it as double dipping, right?
oh yeah.
And it as if I were a developer, I would have a very tough time with this. But I mean, that's the point. They're trying to get children to develop games. They make tools that make it accessible to children. Does a kid really know about this double dipping? Can they do the math, or do they just care about getting millions of followers and likes or whatever on their game, right? Millions of people playing their game.
Yeah, so you create these games. Are they called OBs? Is that
Mm,
correct? Does that sound right?
I don't know.
Um, and they create the games, and they can, if people spend money in them, they can get a cut, basically,
Mm,
right? That's going on. Most popular games: Adopt Me, Brookhaven, Food Blocks, Tower of Hell. Get it? So not all kid friendly.
right.
That's there. And actually, if you break out the average age of who is using this Roblox and Robux, you're actually going to find a different demographic than a lot of people think. When you
Mm.
think of Roblox, blocks, who do you think is getting these? What is the average age?
I I assume that it's somewhere between, oh, I said teen, somewhere between 10 and 17. I don't know.
Yeah. And you're not too far off. About 67% of them are 16 and under.
Okay,
Only 70, which means 30% of them are over 17.
right. Well, and
And
those
so
could be
that's a,
kids like mine that grew up on it and fell in love with what's the name of the game? Grow Garden?
yep,
Grow?
there we
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
And actually, their
Um,
fastest growing demographic are 17 to 24-year-olds.
and it could be
So
they're just taking the people with them, right?
they could be taking it with them. There could be people coming on and building more adultish content
Mhm.
associated with it. And as a result, you do have a platform that has to mature with it. And
Mm.
I don't think that's going on very well at Roblox.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So when you create a platform for millions of youth, intentionally for millions of youth, well, and regardless, if you have youth accessing your platform, you need to have safety considerations. You need moderators, all kinds of things. And so I think that growth has been a challenge for Roblox. They're facing criticism on multiple fronts. One of them is this uh, creator, children as creators front, where children are signing up to build games. They actually have some third party. They might be joining a team of some sort, not belonging to Roblox, but some external team. They may be getting pressure to put in long hours. So we're seeing a lot of child labor complaints coming against them. And then along those same lines, we have children in theory that are signing contracts, and we'll have to figure out, like, is this really children signing it, or is the parent signing these, that give Roblox not the intellectual property but a perpetual worldwide non-exclusive royalty-free license to do with whatever they want with your content to profit off of it, which I think is really fascinating.
Yeah, it is actually interesting because basically And Roblox has a pretty good argument, I gotta say. If we didn't give you all these tools, you couldn't have developed the
Hmm.
game, right? If you did develop the game and it was awesome, you still didn't have a platform to advertise it and launch
Hmm.
it and have 100 million users potentially join your game. So
Hmm.
I have this really powerful platform that is there, and so I should get a fairly decent cut of it because without me, you would just be this little game in the universe,
Right.
and nobody would find you, right? So there is a legitimate business argument about what Roblox is doing. It is an enabling platform, very much like Apple Store or something like that. That is going on. But you're right in the fact that this is really much more focused as a child development game. Now, if
Hmm.
we look behind the scenes, go ahead and look at the most popular and very profitable games. You're going to find professionals behind them. You're not going to find the children's games
Hmm.
that we were talking about. The original idea may have been there, but a lot of it gets exploded and grown by alternative individuals who will, add stuff and make copies, etc. And I don't know, we haven't actually seen a lawsuit from somebody saying, hey, wait, Adopt Me was originally
Right.
my idea. We haven't
Right.
seen that.
Well,
Um,
and we do see some folks who created these games as children who have grown to become essentially professional developers, right? And they are saying that they feel as adults that there's an imbalance. Regardless, the one thing I do want to say is Roblox is not forcing anyone to create games. They are not putting
correct.
pressure on anyone to create games, and I think that is really the critical counter argument from a leadership perspective at Roblox is we're not forcing child labor. We're giving kids a platform and I think of it very similar to the lemonade stand that I ran as a kid. I see this as the digital version of the lemonade stand. And so I can see if there is exploitation of child labor, I think we should be looking at the outside forces that are putting pressure on kids to work long hours to develop games rather than Roblox itself.
Correct, absolutely. So if there are third parties who are using children labor to do this, it's not Roblox, right? They're
Right.
providing the platform and somebody is using this for nefarious
Yeah.
schemes. Where Roblox actually has responsibility, and that's where we really need to get into it,
Mhm.
is the safety of the children who are on their platform. And that is what has been making headlines throughout August and why we're having this conversation today, right?
Absolutely.
So there has been a few lawsuits, one actually right here in Missouri, since I'm in Missouri, that got filed that basically suggests that there are child predators on Roblox posing as children and have
Mhm.
been grooming children to either help them through the promise of I'll give you Robux to do this. And there has been everything from explicit pictures to luring children to go off site,
Mhm.
and go to another venue that is not protected by Roblox's kind of
Right.
monitoring system, and even potentially meeting those supposedly meeting the children and discovering it's an adult for obviously incredibly criminal and inappropriate issues.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a couple things that when you and I wanted to talk about this, a lot of it was because we weren't aware of things that were happening on this platform. And so a couple things that I just had researched. For children under 13, chat is turned on by default. Now, I recognize there are filters in place for certain words, but you and I both know that the filters aren't going to catch certain behaviors that are really the ones that children can be susceptible to and luring them potentially off the platform, like you said. But there are parental controls and parents can turn off the chat. So I think that's important for us to talk about. And I know at our dinner table, and I'm sure yours, we talk an awful lot about just online predators in general. We talk about online comments, and that's where people go to say bad things that they would never say to your face, that kind of stuff. So I think we're going to have an awful lot more discussion around what's the responsibility of Roblox blocks versus the parents, but uh, parents having conversations with their kids about what their kids are doing on an online platform, I think we both agree is critical.
Absolutely. And I feel sometimes like a bad parent because when all this hit the fan earlier this month, I had
Hmm.
no clue. My kids are on Roblox.
Yeah.
In fact, they have subscription level Robux. So every month they get a few Robux on auto pay, which is an interesting way to make money, I gotta say. And as a parent, I'm allowing it, which is probably not great. But it also means that I have not gone into those parent controls in a while. Right? I set it up
Mhm.
when I first put them on, and things have happened. And until my kid comes and says, "Hey, mom, remember how you set this up when I was 7 and now I'm 14? Can we please
Right.
go and release some of these?" I don't even think about it. And of course, my immediate response is, I don't remember my password.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it. I get that. So we'll talk about password hygiene in a later date. Uh,
Yes.
but, but okay, so so we do know that online predators are a problem, and actually they've been a problem for quite a while. This was exposed, I think, in an article in 2021. There was a content creator a few years ago that also brought this to Roblox's attention. Now, this content creator, I think, also had a bit of a shady side himself. So that one got settled in court. But uh, the most recent revelation is from a content creator named Schlep. Your kids know who Schlep is, right? Mine
They
did.
do. And I had never heard of them
I know.
before this
Exactly.
blow up. And like, this
Yeah.
is my son educating me, not the other way around, which is not the way this is supposed to be.
I know, which is why we're talking about this. But so Schlep apparently has been running to catch a predator. If anyone has watched that show, I cannot watch that show. I know of it. I cannot watch it. It's too disturbing to me. But essentially, Schlepp has been running, to catch a predator Roblox edition and broadcasting it on YouTube and handing over everything that he gets to the FBI. So he or to the authorities. So he has been running stings with the authorities, broadcasting it on YouTube, and then Roblox found out about it. And and what did they do?
They shut it down.
They kicked him off the platform.
And I'll be honest, I think that's the right move. And this may be the argument associated with transparency, etc. Okay, look, are there bad players out of the 111 million daily average users on Roblox? Yes. Should we have absolute safety in our children who are on there? Absolutely. Is that actually possible? No, it's
Right.
not going to be possible. As soon as you create a better jail, somebody will create a better jailbreak, right? It's
Mhm.
that
Right.
that back and forth that's there. But if you have somebody out there who is purposefully, right, advertising that you are a major danger to individuals, creating all of this marketing disaster
Mhm.
area, and you have the power to shut it down, I absolutely would shut it down. And I would sit there and I would say, "Hey, FBI, we're happy to work with you off of YouTube to do
Mhm.
the exact same thing."
But have they done that?
Not
Because,
publicly.
yeah, so it's my understanding that Schlepp has been giving Roblox this information. He's been giving it not only to the authorities, but also to Roblox, and they've been ignoring it. So one of the ideas, and I don't know if this is true or not. So, but one of the ideas is that these predators are purchasing Robux, and they're
Yes.
using Robux to bribe children into going into offline areas or something like that. So if you think about it, that could be it's a source of revenue that Roblox may not want to cut off. Now, they're never going to say that publicly,
Oh,
but
I
have
mean,
they
let's be
taken
honest,
action?
but let's do risk and reward there, Cindy. They want to cut it off because hopefully the number of child predators on Roblox buying Robux is such a small number compared to the $1 billion that they made just in the past 3 months.
Mhm.
Right? If
That's a
they
lot.
had a choice, they would like to cut it off. The problem is how do I know you're the child predator and you're not just
Mhm.
the parent buying it for your kid? Or you're not the grandparent buying it for your kid that's there, right?
Mhm.
And how do I even know how you bought it? Because originally you probably bought it at Walmart through a gift
Right.
card. You're not necessarily registering hellochildpredator.com and buying Roblox
Yeah,
and doing it, right? So it's an impossible scenario. And I want to make it pretty clear that Roblox is spending money on infrastructure and safety. Now,
they are.
they put infrastructure and safety together, which you got to question a little bit about because that can help you inflate your numbers. But we are talking about $500 million of expenses just this year on infrastructure and safety.
Okay, but
Um,
infrastructure is insanely expensive,
yeah.
so I
And
would
we
love to
don't
see
know
that
the
broken
breakout
out.
between them. We
Yeah,
don't know the breakout between them. But they can sit there and they can say, look, we are spending. And that, by the way, I mean, that is what 25% of their revenue is being spent on this. So it's not a
yeah.
small number. And they're sitting there and they are advertising. They are responding to some of these saying, we're developing AI to try to find these guys. We have all these parental controls. We've added this, we've added that. They are trying. Is it good enough? Maybe not. That can be an opinion and it's a valid one. But I
Hmm.
actually think they're probably doing the best they can. And there's always going to be slightly bad players, and there's
Yes.
no way for them to catch them all. And so I think this is going to be another scenario where we have a very tiny fraction of bad players that are creating a really large issue. And
Right.
I think this is really interesting because when you first heard of this, what did you tell your kids?
Oh, what I told them that the creator had been banned from the platform. That's what I told them. Both
But
my
what
so
else
my
did you
kids are
think about
both.
was what happened to Roblox when this kind of
Oh,
hit the
oh yeah.
fan and
I
splashed?
said, yeah, I was absolutely certain that Roblox would go under, that they would
Yeah,
go bankrupt.
and it's not, right? I mean, it went down, like there was actually a peak. It peaked about July 1st or July 31st after it announced its
Mm.
really great earnings, which is great. But it's down about 11%, but Roblox has doubled this year. It
Yeah,
is
it's insane.
doubled from January. Why? Because it's actually doing really, really well. It's adding more and more players. And we are right now, we're in 3Q. 3Q is their golden spot. Did anybody have an idea why 3Q would be the place that we would have more than anything
Christmas.
else?
Christmas is
No, it's
coming.
not Christmas. That's 4Q. 3Q, summer. What are kids doing during this summer?
Oh, interesting. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So we have
flying.
all these kids offline, and my kids have spent way too much time on the computer this summer. So they are actually in their peak season
Yeah.
while this is happening. And I have done absolutely nothing to stop my kids from continuing to use Roblox, despite this argument,
Interesting.
which for me as an investor says, you're going to continue to make money. This company is still going to do this. They should spend more money on this and try to prevent a catastrophe. But it is not right now affecting Roblox from the numbers we have, like Target has hit with its
Right.
protests, or Anheuser-Busch happened when they decided to pick a bad advertising system, right? This becomes a bad marketing ploy that has an issue that they are now trying to fix through some legitimate arguments. But we
Hmm.
haven't even blown up to the point of congressional hearings or anything like that on this topic yet. Now, could it grow?
Interesting.
Absolutely. But right now it's still manageable. And we can see that with a very modest decline in the stock. And that's all that's happened.
That is, it's just insane to me because, from a leadership perspective, what I see a CEO who has continually potentially overinflated, not potentially, he's overinflating the perception of how much money he's spending on child safety because I guarantee you that infrastructure costs darn close to $500,000. It's very expensive infrastructure to run, and he's not showing that he wants to partner with somebody who actually can find the predators on his platform. Like that's what I would do. I would go partner with them to try to figure out how do we do this together in a way that minimizes the damage to the brand. But no, he's booting him off the platform. So I see turn after turn after turn, he's making decisions against the welfare of children. And so for me, that says that there's basically studies that show if you cheat on your spouse, you are more likely to commit fraudulent acts at work. And I don't know anything about this guy and whether or not he's cheated on his spouse, but I see someone who's frequently making what I think to be the wrong choice ethically. So
I
yeah.
I mean, Cindy, I can't believe you would want if you were the CEO of a company and there was somebody putting YouTube videos out there about child predators on your platform,
I would
the
run
idea
to
that you're
him
going to
and
partner with them
yeah,
compared to
absolutely.
shut them down,
100%.
hell no, shut them down.
No, 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 no.
Do not continue to perpetuate this, right? Shut them down.
I would totally partner with them and we would turn it into something really interesting.
No, because
I,
the problem is that, and I think this is what the reality is. The CEO knows he can't fix it completely.
right.
The
And
guy
no
is
one can.
going to continue to find children predators. And if I partner with you and find one again and again and again and again, it never goes away. If I
Mhm.
shut you down, I can continue hunting for them on my own in the safety, and maybe they do or maybe they don't. I don't know that.
Yeah,
But I could continue to, I have that option to do it. And I don't have somebody on YouTube showing with proof,
right.
with visuals, that I am trapping these guys. Like,
Yes.
no way. There is
So
no PR spin you can put on that that makes that a positive, Cindy. It's
absolutely there
always going to
is.
be a negative
No,
because the
it is.
ending story is always going to be there are children predators on Roblox.
Absolutely. And there still is that story. The interesting thing is that you don't see them hunting them. There is no proof, not even them saying that they're hunting them. Number one, they're being blocked in Qatar. They may be blocked in other countries. So Indonesia is looking at blocking them outright. Um, and and instead, there's a narrative out there that their response to becoming aware of child predators on their platform is to deplatform creators. That is, to me, far more negative versus if they embraced them and said, not only are we hunting them, we're using some of the best in the world. And you can see us doing it in action because we admit they'll always be there, but you can guarantee that we're after them. Heck, I would even fund the guy.
No,
Absolutely.
no way.
Because what's going to
No
happen,
way.
we've already seen it. Schlep is going to partner with a guy who I can't remember, Chris something, Doran is that his name? The guy who ran the TV show To Catch a Predator. They're going to create a
And I'm gonna
documentary.
try to shut it down again. I'm gonna shut it down again. I'm gonna shut it down again. All right. We gotta keep moving though, because
Oh, yes.
this is not the only issue at Roblox, which is kind of fun. That's there. We have another issue that also I think is really interesting. They're under RICO charges, right?
I think,
Because
yes.
it turns out you created this fictional currency that is
Right.
able to be both purchased in and depending on if you're a platform, a subscriber, pulled out even for a hefty fee into cash. And so what have people done? They have
They're
used
gambling.
this as a pseudo currency.
Right. I thought they were gambling on the platform. I thought that was the RICO charge, but were telling me that that is not the case. That,
It's a third party platform. So actually, if you
okay.
go into the SEC web or the SEC website, uh, legal requirements have Roblox actually issuing 10Ks and 10Qs. And if you go into the notes to the financial statements, you have to kind of hunt for it. You have to know that it's there. You will find a note called contingencies and commitments that's there. And basically, that is where they have to disclose what is called a contingent liability. And a contingent liability is a such that you either have it as measurable or probable, but not both. If it's
Right.
measurable and probable, you have to run it through the income statement. It has to show up on the balance sheet, etc. In this situation, you don't have it there. You're just saying, hey, this is a possibility that I may owe some money in the future. Well, the RICO charges, that's where it is. And what you can see is that they have been sued not once, but twice. And those two lawsuits have been consolidated, where basically the argument is that people have used these Roblox on third-party vendors to basically have gambling sites. That's there.
That's crazy.
Now that is crazy. And they are actively trying to dismiss, saying, "Hey, this isn't us. This is people using our technology inappropriately against its licensing. We should not be at fault here." Part of those claims have been upheld and dismissed. Part of them has not. Now, I am not a lawyer, so I do not
Yeah,
understand what the California law is that this
sure.
is going under, or the New York law that it's going under. But there is continued um, uh, uh, litigation
Right.
going on about the Robux
And do you think they're
that's
doing
going on.
this? Like I would be a terrible criminal I couldn't be a criminal because I can't come up with these ideas. But do you think they're doing this to get around the you can't gamble with US dollars thing? Is it to
Oh, it's very
what?
possible. Very
Okay.
easily possible, right? But and that's the other thing. Like, what is gambling? I think there's
Oh,
some real issues associated with it because you said I thought it was done on the site. And I'm going to be honest, I think it is done on the
there's
site. It's just
probably
not
yeah.
done in the words gambling. Um they're not playing craps and blackjack, but what they are doing is they're buying Roblox to open a blind box, which is
Right.
obviously just a
Gambling, yeah.
mechanic number, right? To get a certain prize. I mean, doesn't that sound a lot like a slot machine?
Oh yeah. Well, you can't play Pokemon Pocket in the Netherlands because it's gambling.
There you go.
So I get it.
So,
Pokemon.
so
Yeah,
somebody who's got, a bone to pick with Roblox could very well get these RICO charges to continue,
certainly.
and to suggest that what we're actually doing is we're teaching children to gamble.
Yeah.
That's there. I'm waiting also for, and we haven't seen it yet, but addiction
Oh,
associated
absolutely.
with it. We're going to have arguments about children addiction to the platform where because there is going to be, and it is absolutely true, that they do certain things so that the children will continue to go and do more and more and more stuff on it to try to continue to up that engagement. So I want to
Hmm.
go back and talk to you a little bit about the math again, because we were touching on it,
Hmm.
about how many people are on Roblox and how much money they make, right?
Yeah.
But let's go back and talk about that because that's going to really feed into these ideas. And that is Roblox has 20 million daily average users here in the United States and Canada.
Okay.
Those daily average users represent spend on approximately in the second quarter of 2025, $40.69
Each. Okay.
each on Roblox
Okay.
and Robux. That's
Is that
there.
per month or
Okay.
in the quarter?
That's in the quarter. That's
Oh,
in the
got it.
quarter.
Okay.
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 So, but I want you to compare that to their biggest area, Asia Pacific, right?
Hmm.
Those individuals spend an average of
Yeah.
$4.95,
Yeah.
right?
Huge difference.
And Europe, it's about $11.50. So obviously something here in the United States and Canada is causing them to go whoosh.
Right.
That's going up. And that is one of the things that the stock market really loves. And that
Yeah.
is, and they've started disclosing it, and they've started talking about how many people are now going on renewed subscription level Roblox purchases.
Interesting.
That's going on. And it is growing and growing and growing. The average returning monthly users, unique payers, 90%. If you bought Robux before, 90% of them will buy it again in the next month. That's there. They have added 4.6 million of them this past quarter from, and
Wow.
understand, these are the repurchase rates, right? The returning
Hmm.
individuals, 23.4 million people purchased, 4.6 million new people did that this time. Um,
Repurchased.
repurchased for the
Yeah.
second time. So it's growing significantly, and they are
Yeah.
creating ways to keep these individuals engaged. At the
Right.
same time, the average daily user's age is continuing to grow older,
Which gives them
right?
access to more funds. And that was always my like how do you make money with a child audience? Like how do you make significant money with a child audience? And so that's it. I mean, they're attracting older children now who actually can spend more money. They might have
Yeah.
some discretionary income.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. And so now you're attracting them. But then what type of games are those 17-year-olds, those 23-year-olds wanting to play? Are they really trying to grow a garden? Some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them are. Some of them really still do like Adopt Me and they want their ultra rare platypus, rainbow platypus or whatever, that is there. But a lot of them are moving on to and developing and using games that are like Hell Tower
Right.
or other games that are not what you would consider
Not suitable.
appropriate for it, which means that
Right.
Roblox once again goes back to what is the safety and
Right.
appropriate items in that children platform.
Right. Absolutely. So there's definitely a conflict here between, where the users are going and their younger or the content their older users want versus the content their younger users want. And I do believe that they're looking at implementing some sort of identification, verification to ensure that children under the age of 13 that we have real identities of some kind out there to make sure that we're not pretending to be something that we're not as well. So, but I got to tell you, it just fascinates me that I have no trust in their leadership. Right? I just do not trust their leadership at all. Um, but but apparently the market does. So it's just really interesting. But my kids are old enough to make their own decisions, right? And so you asked me what I tell my kids to get off the platform. I just don't know. My kids have never been on Meta, and it's because I feel the same about Meta's leadership. And so I never let them get on it in the first place. And so I'd have to sit down and think real hard about whether or not I would try to advise my kids to get off of that platform. But
Yeah, I wish I had an answer for you. My kids have been on Oculus, which is the Meta platform
right.
that's there, but they do not have Facebook accounts. And my kids do not have Instagram accounts. I did go on Snapchat temporarily with them, and then I pulled them. Now the
Hmm.
older ones who are close to adult age are back on, but the younger ones are not allowed on. But I am the mom who still I gave my 12-year-old a cell phone. That's when they got their cell phones,
That's what, yeah,
which
ours too.
is apparently still too young, according to my kid's school and the state of Missouri, who know is taking away my kids' cell phones in class. That's there, but it's a continually evolving item, and I think
100%.
that's the one thing we also need to recognize with Roblox that's there, right? This is a new platform. We've never had a place where 111 million supposedly children are going to be interacting on a daily basis. They
Right.
are creating and trying to create new ground of safety metrics and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And there's never going to be a silver bullet that's going to find all of the bad players. When you have that big of a feast, right? 111 potential victims, you're going to attract bad players. And whether
Yeah.
it be the child predators, which are obviously making the headlines, or just theft, because I think that's a real interesting thing. My kids have
Hmm.
actually had their Roblox stolen.
Yes.
Robux stolen from them. We've shut down their accounts before and created new accounts because passwords had gotten compromised and stuff like that. My kids used to troll YouTube all the time for different hacks that give you free Robux, which are obviously
Right.
just scams about it. And I had to teach them after they had become victims.
Hmm.
I was able to shut it down quickly, and I'm in a socioeconomic situation that the $20 of Roblox didn't hurt, but there's other situations where that's not true. And should they
Right.
be able to be there? Should Roblox be liable for my $20? Because I'm not getting a refund on
Right.
that, even though they
No.
got stolen.
Agreed. Agreed. The whole thing is fascinating. I think if we summarize, like right now, Roblox is dealing with the balance of revenue and monetizing their platform versus the perceived fairness, right? What is fair pay? And I think that will forever be wrapped up in, is it child labor or not? I think they're obviously facing safety challenges. And then, uh, you know, uh, safety versus growth. Can you have both? And then I think the third one that they're facing is transparency versus, defensiveness. And this, I think, is the one that so clearly you would not hire me to be a CEO.
Nope, I'm sorry, you are not on my short list. I'm
I love
sorry,
it.
not for this type of platform. Not for this
That's
type of
awesome.
platform.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Jamie, do you want to wrap this up?
Sure. So what could they be thinking? We're talking about a $1 billion playground where it doesn't run itself. If Roblox keep wants to keep investors happy and keep parent buy-in, they'll need to do more than just filter and lawsuits. They're going to have to change. They'll need a leadership that grows up as fast as their users do. And so That's kind of scary. We'll see if they can do it because I'll
Yeah,
be honest, right now, I'm not an investor in Roblox, but it's not because of anything we talked about here today. It's because they're not profitable and they're not
yes,
going to become profitable. All of that money who's getting enriched are the people who work at Roblox, in my opinion. So
that's
until
fascinating.
next time, keep your spreadsheets handy and your coffee strong.
Thanks, Jamie. Have a good one.
Thanks for the live stream, everyone.